Hello peeps, this is Drakkarts with another little tutorial. For those of you who can't wait, you press the menu thing. For all the others, welcome back to my 842 subscriber special tutorial thing. I was thinking quite a little while for what to do, but then decided, for it was requested a few times, to do actually a tutorial on a Scully XP farm, or in general a XP farm like with spawners. When you find them in your world you just started, what to do with them, because they can really give you a head start like we experienced it on the server. Actually, I used the block-centric server seed because there I know where the spawner is, so I could easily find it again for this tutorial. By the way, thank you all for doing the subscribing, spreading the word saying, because like as you may have noticed, this tutorial is like totally late. I mean, last tutorial I told you I want to go with the funny numbers, so this was 369, because it was like a funny number, everything correlated to 3. So this tutorial we are doing the 842 subscriber special thing. Yeah, you might mention like, wait, there were other tutorials in between. Yes, right, but not those with the menu thing up there, because those require really a lot of time and preparation. So I kind of do them less frequently than just little show-offs or little small other tutorials I do normally. So those are like, yeah, a little more time intense to do. Anyway, I really appreciate all your like spreading the word thing and all, because I mean, whoa, I never imagined this would like go that fast. Like, I mean, I know there are channels bigger than me, growing way faster than me and all, but yeah, as I said, like the last special tutorial was 369, and that is like a month ago, and now I passed 842. Like, this is kind of crazy. So yeah, thank you all very much for spreading the word, for liking, commenting, subscribing and all. I am really baffled, and yeah, so here, this is your gift. I know you'll expect something for the 1000 subscribers thing, and I already have plans. I just did not like think it through entirely. Anyway, for now, this is 842. You 842 and all the other new guys, you are really awesome. So here is your little tutorial. Enjoy. So for the stuff explaining part, I switched into a creative test world where I set up a little spawner for us to explain some in-game mechanics. So what we first need to do is like to figure out where actually would mobs spawn from the spawner. To get that known, they will spawn in an 8x8x3 high block, which is represented by this glass here. To figure out which side has only 3 distance, like those, and which side needs 4 blocks away from the spawner, you need to figure out which is the lowest coordinate. So when we are on the spawner and we go in any diagonal direction, if we see the numbers increase, then we are going the wrong direction. If we see the numbers decrease or getting lower, a negative number getting bigger means also the total value gets lower, so we need to think around that. Anyway, so we got them lower. Minus 54 is lower than minus 50, right? So we figure out the smaller coordinate, and actually this corner here, where those 4 blocks meet, this corner is the central point of our spawning block, right? That's it, that glass block here. So this is where they can spawn. Now, if they would, for example, if skellies would spawn in this block, this would mean they would stand on the block below with their feet, which means their head would be 1 block higher. So if we don't want them to suffocate instantly, which like would prevent them from spawning, we have to like make the ceiling at least too high from the spawner. Okay, and we will need a little more space below because there will be some waterways which collects them for us. So the next thing we are interested in is when do they spawn? They spawn when we are closer than 60 blocks to the spawner. Closer than 60 blocks, this thing is a sphere. I just did 1 quadrant thing here. Whenever we like get closer or we like move beyond this green boundary, the spawner will turn on. So if I'm sitting here and move there, it turns on. And if it would be a cubic measurement and not a spherical measurement, I could like go out here and it still should be turned on, but it is not. So this indicates we are dealing with a sphere here. See that? I can stand here and nothing happens, but if I get closer now, bam, there we go. Okay, so we want to be within this green ball around the spawner, which has a distance of 16. So this corner block here is 16 blocks away from the spawner. So the radius of that sphere is 16 blocks around the spawner. So we want to be within this radius to make sure that the spawner constantly produces more mobs. But there is another thing we need to take care of, which is this red block. This describes an area that will prevent the spawner from spawning additional mobs if within this area are already 6 of the mobs. So what we gonna need to do is, like, when we want this thing to keep spawning more mobs for us, we want to bring them out of this red wool cubish thing here to make sure the spawner produces even more mobs. This has a distance of 8 blocks in the X and Z direction, and with the central block being the spawner, so this time we actually really calculate up to 17. 8 plus 1 is 9, plus another 8 is 17, and it's 4 blocks above and below the spawner. So yeah, 9 blocks height, 17 blocks wide in both directions. The sphere, again, down below and up there, still 16 blocks distance. Okay, so we want like our spawning room, for example, to be here. And we want to get the mobs out of that thing as fast as possible. Next thing we need to acknowledge is that the lighting in the spawn room must be below light level 8. So skellies or zombies, depending on the spawner, will only spawn if it's dimmer than light level 8. Keep that in mind for later when I am going to explain the redstone on-off switch. Another thing we need to know is how fall damage works, because we are going to build our mob spawner as a one-hit kill XP farm. So we need to figure out how deep do the mobs have to fall to ensure that they are just one-hit kill. Every one block you drop down, you lose half a heart, which corresponds to 1 hit point. But the first 3 blocks you fall down are for free. So we have 20 hit points now because we have 10 full hearts. Same goes for skellies. So I switched into survival mode, and this block is 22 blocks from the ground. I'm going to jump down now. You see, I'm exactly close to 1 hit. Okay, I'm regenerating pretty quickly, but I was close to 1 hit. Oh, I was at 1 hit. So 22 is the height we want them to drop. So one of the conditions I mentioned regarding spawning was the light level below 8. To know what light levels are, those are the differences between these. You see those blocks, they like get lighter and lighter. I turn smooth lighting off so you can actually see the difference between the single blocks. So if you place a light source like this jack-o'-lantern here, it will light up to 15 blocks in that direction. So what we want to do down there, keeping that in mind, we want to make sure that the whole room is lit as light as possible. So to do that, we will have to place our light sources in a overlapping fashion. For example, we could make it like 2 from that side, 1 here, 2 from that side, 1 there, 2 from that side, 1 here. So such a pattern ensures that the inner part, that every block in here will have one shortest connection to one of the light sources. So to this light source, that block, I'll replace that with a stone block. So this has 1, 2, and there's already the light source. It had 1, 2, 3 to that light source, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4 to that light source. So what we want to make sure is like set them up in such a interlocking pattern. Let's come to the next part, turning on and off the mob spawner with redstone. I transformed the room a little, placed jack-o'-lanterns in here because they are the cheapest material you can get when you start it fresh. I mean, you don't even have to go into the nether to get some glowstone. I kind of don't recommend torches because they are a little too weak, but yeah, they might do as well. No big deal. Anyway, so when placed in here, they kind of like light up the room nicely. This works totally fine. So how I place them is like I count 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then place a jack-o'-lantern. The other thing will be 3. I count again, 1, 2, 3, 4, place a jack-o'-lantern. Like that. So the next thing we want to do is enable the room to get dark, and we do that by using redstone. We are going to need redstone, 4 pistons, a few repeaters, and a lever. What we do here on all 4 sides is like push out the block there and put a piston in it. Next thing we do, we connect all those with redstone. And what you also want to do is you want to like close it up after you set up the wire, because you don't want mobs to spawn in here, which also includes that you put half slabs in these spots so the wiring can actually go on top of such a block, or you do the wiring entirely one block higher, but then you have to cover this block as well with redstone, like that. And then just go like so. And the moment we flick this, it should be dark in there, if there wouldn't be this torch. So now we did a little building already, but this is the final part of the tutorial, how to get the skellies out of here. First of all, we need to lower the floor. Like this. Okay, so I lowered the floor. The next thing we want to do is place water to bring them towards us already, like this. The skellies are too high, so we need to make a little space for them. Because they are going to jump up and down in the water, we actually can make this 3 high. Now we dig down one more and we'll put a water stream here. This will bring them over to this side. We dig down one more and we'll do that again. Oops. So you remember the escape area I showed you in the creative world with the 8 blocks in every direction distance. If there are 6 skeletons, they won't spawn anymore. So we want the skeletons, which most likely will spawn in groups of 4, to get out of there as fast as possible. So this is why they will drop down here and then get shoved along this wall over here. So the 8 distance will be, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 around here. We do an extra one. So here we start doing the elevation of the mobs. We place a stair and we will need water source blocks and signs and some building material for in this situation, because we are in the open here. So first we close this up. Don't worry about this being 3 high, that's totally fine. Like, yeah. Also, like, don't mind this one, that's cool as well. We just want them to get out of this area as fast as possible, so new ones can spawn as soon as possible. Okay. So here we build like a pillar up, and now we need to keep in mind that we have to dig up, how far is it? So 28 is the height of our control room here. So we want to drop them 22. 22 plus 28 makes 50. So we need to elevate the mobs to epsilon. It's epsilon, right? So we are going to build this little shaft here. So what we do here now is we dig, place that thing here. We dig out one more here, like that. Now place a sign here, there, see, 3 high, and then place a water source in here. This will shove us even further into the elevation tower now. You could then also add another water source block above here and maybe a sign every now and then. Signs give them air so they don't drown in the elevation tower. So we just built this thing up. You could make like the entire thing out of water source blocks. I prefer like doing more signs because they are also filling 1 block height and are easily obtainable. Let's dig up to 50, right? 51. Okay, 51. Cool. Now we dig over. Alright, now water source block, and now we need another water source block to flow over the under. Then we go like 1, 2... Okay, so this is the top of the elevation shaft. Like as you can see here, water signs all the way down there. Then I just use the water current to bring them over where we want them. Then we leave 1 spot free and then we dig down. Why do we have this spot here? Also, if you need a shorter distance, you can just place a sign, doesn't matter. We want the skellies not to be in the water and be jumping all the time. We want them to stand still and then get shoved by the next skeleton that comes along. Because if they jump in water, some of them will die when they drop down, and some of them will have a full heart, means 2 hit points, so you need to punch them twice. So what we want is a always consistent 1-hit kill. That's why I prefer to like have them standing on a block and let them get shoved over by the next skeleton that comes by. So now we just dig down to our height of 28 and also place the light over up there because we want to don't have stuff spawn on that one block we left free. Okay, we come down here. So this basically should be where the mobs drop down. We might have to move that switch over here, so we have it in close proximity. Block here, switch there. Now we should make sure we are still in the activation range, like when we are standing here. Yeah, looks good. In the activation range, so it's still activated when we stand just in front of it. So we place the blocks back. So here spawned a few and I waited a little while and they keep coming. So they are all 1-hit kills. I mean, except they would wear armor, which mitigates the fall damage. But besides that, they are all 1-hit kills as we want them. So this also concludes this tutorial. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye guys.